Quite a cleanup job ahead in Paterson after a freight train jumped the tracks and crashed into several buildings.
New York's highest court takes up the issue of gay marriage.
And police hope a credit card and surveillance photo can help them solve a murder. These stories and more making news today in New York. And good morning. 6 o'clock show coming up quickly for many of us. Wednesday morning, May 31st. I'm Rob Morrison.
And I'm Carolyn Gussup in this morning for Darlene.
Excuse me?
Always great to be there. Now full.
A ham and cheese sandwich.
Really?
Ham and cheese.
I was going to take over, but I missed it.
We got the solid 5 seconds. I know. I don't think I've ever seen anybody chew that fast before. Not to leave your tongue survive. Out of nowhere. We're on. Good morning. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Meantime, we've got some haze and some fog in the air this morning and some low clouds too. Temperatures, they're still mild. We're well into the 60s again at this hour of the morning. We're at 66 degrees. A little hazy sunshine burning on through. Interesting shot. You can see the haze and the low clouds in parts of the tri-state, while other parts, that's already burned off. So we're going to see another warm day, especially west of the city. East of the city will be cooler because of the breeze coming in from off the Atlantic, but partly to mostly cloudy, 66 current temperature. Elsewhere, pretty much same scenario, low and mid 60s doing it temperature-wise. Pretty uniform regime, if you will. To the west, close to 70, but no real cool air to be found. You have to go up towards coastal New England, Portland, Boston. You're in the lower 50s with that little backdoor cool front sitting up there. But for the most part today, clouds will mix with hazy sunshine in the afternoon. Could be a pop-up shower or thunderstorm mainly west to northwest of town. Look for a high this afternoon of about 79 in the city, but well into the 80s just west of town and in the lower 70s east of town. 67 tonight. Kind of a partly cloudy night on the muggy side once again, but no rain expected. Different story in regards to the rain coming up by the end of the day tomorrow and especially into Friday. We'll talk more about that in a few minutes.
All right, Chris, thanks. We'll see you then. Well, it's going to take quite a while to clean up the mess in Paterson, New Jersey. A freight train jumped the tracks and crashed into several buildings off 18th Street. Joe Avalar is right in the middle of the wreckage this morning. Joe, good morning.
Oh, good morning, Carolyn. You can get a sense of exactly what happened. Somewhere around Godwin Avenue, you can see the train actually came off the tracks, and then it just backed up on itself as one car jackknifed into another car and slammed and tipped over, and then you can see part of the cars in the ground there, the wheels, and then as you can see, it tipped on its side into a building that was a car wash and an auto repair. This is what it looked like last night when it happened.
A freight train rail car tipped on its side, spilling its contents of industrial debris and garbage. One of 8 rail cars in a 70-car train that derailed in Paterson after 9 last night.
A little after 9 o'clock, we seen the train coming by, a couple of sparks going as it was trying to brake and everything, which some of the rail came plopping up a little by little. The next thing you know, the train just detached. One went to the left, one went to the right, ran into the back of the building.
Cars from the New York, Susquehanna, and Western Railway slammed into 2 buildings, an auto repair shop and a car wash. Both collapsed. There was a gas leak at the car wash.
We had to evacuate about 75 families, taking them to a makeshift center at our Riverside Vets. We called Red Cross, the county, hazmat.
The gas leak was found and turned off. The families returned to their homes last night. The several cars on the train contained contaminated construction debris. Fortunately, those cars remained on the track and never posed a hazard. Cleanup will continue throughout the day today.
We're creating detours, alternate traffic routes, so we urge everybody to really stay away from the site.
Amazingly, in all this debris and wreckage, nobody was hurt. But what caused it all? At this point, they just don't know. They'll be investigating that later today, and they hope to begin removing debris here later today as well. That's what's happening here. Back to you.
All right, Joe Avalar in Paterson this morning. Thanks, Joe. In Manhattan, police are releasing surveillance photos, hoping they'll lead to the killers of a New Jersey man beaten and robbed. Take a look. These photos were taken in Washington Heights and Corona. That's where police say the men used the credit cards of Thomas Whitney, killed 10 days ago after leaving a Chelsea nightclub. Investigators won't call these men murder suspects, just people of interest. Anyone with information is urged to call police at this number, 800-577-TIPS.
And turning to politics now, where New York Democrats have made their pick to run for governor. It's State Attorney General Eliot Spitzer. He won overwhelming support from the delegates, despite a challenge from Nassau County Executive Tom Suozzi. Suozzi, though, promises to wage a primary challenge. But Spitzer was more focused on his campaign theme, which is running against Governor Pataki's record.
Ours is not a crisis of ideas. It's not a crisis of talent or resources or even solutions. Because as New Yorkers, there is no problem we cannot solve. Ours is a crisis of leadership.
I've knocked on doors. I've talked to people who come to the door crying because they can't afford to live here anymore. They can't afford to pay their property taxes.
In a surprising show of unity, Democrats gave strong support to Andrew Cuomo's bid for state attorney general over rival Mark Green.
There could be a political battle on Long Island today when Republicans hold their convention. Former Massachusetts Governor William Weld and former Assembly Minority Leader John Faso are battling for governor. Neither appears to have a clear edge. There's also no clear U.S. senatorial candidate. Outgoing Governor George Pataki will talk to the crowd this afternoon.
And today, New York's highest court hears arguments on behalf of 45 same-sex couples who were denied marriage licenses. The court could potentially decide on the legality of the marriages. Some of the couples involved are represented by the New York Civil Liberties Union, and Vivian Lee is live this morning at the group's headquarters downtown. Vivian?
Carolyn, here's a run-up to how we got to today. It was back in 2004 that a handful of same-sex couples who wanted to get married were denied marriage certificates by the city. They launched a lawsuit. A state Supreme Court judge ruled in their favor, but 10 months later, in December 2005, an appellate court judge reversed that decision. So we have finally set the stage for the final battle here at the highest court of the state, with opening arguments to be made by supporters and critics of same-sex marriage. At Congregation B'nai Jeshurun on the Upper West Side last night, a rally for gay marriages in New York, supporters calling the fight a moral one.
There are far more people of faith who are supportive of the gay community than are opposed to us. We've just never done a good enough job of organizing them, and tonight we're showing that.
5 same-sex couples who filed suit against the city will have their day in the state's highest court today, 2 years after they were denied marriage certificates. They will argue denying gays and lesbians the right to marry violates the state constitution's guarantee of equality and liberty for all New Yorkers. The New York Civil Liberties Union represents some of the couples.
So that they can enjoy the benefits of health care, so that they can benefit from their pensions, so they can make decisions when one of them is tragically ill.
The New York State Conservative Party will fight the case, arguing that marriage must be defined as a union between a man and a woman.
This is an issue of special privileges. This is an issue that would change the face of marriage as we know it. Courts should not be making this type of decision. If there's going to be some form of change, it has to come through the legislature.
And that is exactly where advocates of same-sex marriage say they will take their next battle should they lose this case. They will focus on changing the state's law. Reporting live in Lower Manhattan, I'm Vivian Lee, Today in New York.
Vivian, thank you. The CBS News correspondent critically injured in Baghdad will remain at a U.S. military hospital for at least several days. Kimberly Dozier is currently in critical but stable condition at the facility in Landstuhl, Germany. 39-year-old was injured in a Memorial Day attack. 2 of her colleagues, as well as an Iraqi translator and a U.S. soldier, were killed when a car bomb went off. And we'll have more on the growing Iraqi insurgency coming up in the next half hour.
To change gears right now, it is 6:07. Let's check in with the ride to work and Shadow Traffic's Trish Giudice. Good morning, Trish.
Good morning, Carolyn and Rob. And slowdowns along the Connecticut Turnpike this morning, getting in towards exit 16 and 17 in Westport. Now, it's because of a northbound accident. 2 lanes remain closed, but anticipate delays both directions along the Connecticut Turnpike. So if you can go with Route 1 or the Merritt Parkway, definitely better alternatives at this point. Let's get you back outside. Panasonic Skycam and better along the Gowanus. Earlier, we had some problems inbound at the Bell Parkway merge. Accident cleared and traffic back on the move. So we're actually looking pretty good this morning now along the Gowanus, but further north builds up just slightly getting in towards the Gowanus Canal. Take a look at the Long Island Expressway in Queens. Westbound side building up slightly getting in through Queens Boulevard. Not too bad though as you make your ride to the Queens Midtown Tunnel. That's up next, and into the city at the Midtown Tunnel. Still minor delays this morning, so that's good news. We can tell you the Queensboro Bridge also in good shape. One problem spot, Morris County, New Jersey, westbound 80 in Rockaway, right at exit 35. That's your exit for Mount Hope Road. That exit is closed with police activity. So far, we're doing okay on 46 New Jersey Turnpike. Looks good. Alternate side in effect. Don't forget, when you get in your car, check out traffic and transit on 1010 Winds. Rob, Carolyn, back to you.
All right. Thanks so much. And still ahead on Today in New York, many homeowners facing a crisis was their insurance company.
That's right. Coming up in our second half hour, why folks who have never had a drop of water in their basements are losing their flood insurance.
And the old man.
All right, Rob, the Giambino comes to the rescue as he saves the Yanks bacon against the Tigers. And a bad news, good news night for the Mets. They lost, it's bad news, but Laston Millage finally made his debut. 1 for 4, Chris, what'd you think?
Had a pretty nice stroke, actually. Looked pretty good. We'll see how that works out. Meantime, today, weather-wise, working out with some low clouds and fog and haze this morning. We get into a little sun this afternoon. A little relief from the heat, especially from the city east, but then wet weather moves in later tomorrow, and that'll stick around into at least the start of the weekend. We'll talk more about that and the rest of your 5-day forecast when Today New York comes right back.
Blockbusters to DVDs. Real Talk, Saturdays at 10.
Good Wednesday morning, everyone. It's 6:12 as we look at the inbound Holland Tunnel and traffic crawling at 6:12, 65 degrees, and it's going to be another nice one.
Yeah, for the most part, and some folks a little bit too hot. Yesterday I was at a school, actually, Clifton Elementary School, 14. Great kids, 4th and 5th graders. Evelyn Sherman, the principal there, but I have to say that the school's a little toasty. I mean,
yeah.
And these kids
no
are great.
AC, huh?
Yeah, I was schwitzing all over the place. But but the kids hung tough. They had some great questions, and I just wanted to say hi to them this morning again. In the meantime, another warm day, a little bit on the sticky side again, especially in the inland spots. Let's get a look outside right now. We've cooled down to 65 degrees in the city. It's cloudy, it's hazy, but there are breaks in the cloud cover, allowing for some sunshine now as we get the perspective from the top of the rock. Even on a morning like today, you can still see some interesting things out there. Hazy sunshine, 65 right now. Rest of the stats, east wind 6, humidity 84%, 30-21, steady as our pressure. 96, the record high in 1939, and just 1 year before that, the record low. 50 degrees cooler at 46, 3.13 inches of rain, the record rainfall for the day. That's probably safe as well. Showers and thunderstorms firing up across the Midwest, the Plain States. Once again today, the heating of the day, things can get a little nasty. We had a cluster of showers and storms come down the Hudson and then make a sharp turn to the west last night, clipping northwest New Jersey, but they moved into Pennsylvania. They're dying out now. We were left with some cloud cover for a while, but we'll see a mix of clouds and some sunshine for this afternoon. There still could be a stray shower, thunderstorm popping up, but again, the best chance is going to be west of the city. Temperatures close to 80 in town. Cooler out east, closer to 70 on the east end of Long Island, but getting into the 80s inland spots in New Jersey. Partly cloudy, kind of a sticky night again tonight. Here's that frontal boundary out to the west that divides some cooler, drier air, but it's really limping slowly eastward. We still have that blocking ridge of high pressure, so it's going to take a while before it gets here. But it will begin to influence our weather in enhancing the chance for showers and thunderstorms tomorrow, late afternoon, and tomorrow night. 79 in the city today, but notice out east only 73 in Southampton. But notice to the west, temperatures in the middle 80s from Sparta all the way down to Princeton, right along the New Jersey coastline in the upper 70s, with a mix of clouds and sunshine. Again, just about a 30% chance of a pop-up storm north and west of town. That'll be the story. Showers and thunderstorms Friday and into part of Saturday. I think we salvaged late Saturday from west to east. Things dry out. Sunday looks pretty good. Less humid with a good deal of sunshine returning. Temperatures in the upper 70s to low 80s today in and close to the city. We're looking at highs in the lower 80s tomorrow and muggy at that. 73 for Friday. And it will be cooler because of the cloud cover and the widespread rain. 75 on Saturday, rain gradually ending. And then Sunday partly sunny and nice with a high temperature of 77. So we're getting back to normal eventually towards the weekend, which is still nice. It's in the mid and upper 70s.
Couldn't be better.
Can't complain.
That's been great.
Yep.
Thanks so much.
You got it.
Coming up next, a shocking report about the health of Americans.
And why your medical checkup may be changing. A certain type of test may be added to it. That's ahead on Today in New York.
Welcome back. About a month ago, we learned the English are healthier than Americans, and now we're hearing Canadians are healthier too. A study by Harvard researchers found that Americans are 42% more likely than Canadians to have diabetes. Americans are 32% more likely to have high blood pressure and 12% more likely to have arthritis. One of the authors says it's a matter of insurance. Insured Americans and Canadians have the same rates of disease. Uninsured Americans make the overall U.S. figures worse.
And Rob, the Centers for Disease Control want to make testing for the AIDS virus more commonplace. Right now, the tests are usually only offered to high-risk patients and pregnant women. But the CDC is recommending that everyone get tested as part of their regular physical exam once they turn 13 years old. The agency says doing so would help the almost 250,000 Americans who don't know that they're infected.
Coming up on 619 this Wednesday morning, let's check the commute again. Here's Trish.
Thanks a lot, Rob and Carolyn. And just got word of some slowdowns. Suffolk County Middle Country Road, I should say, right at Half Moon Pond Road. Fire department activity, so that's got some traffic delays right now in through that area of Suffolk County. Again, that's Middle Country Road. We'll take you outside, Panasonic Skycam, and show you things are looking good along the New Jersey Turnpike this morning. Car and truck lanes in through Interchange 14. Really not a bad ride at all, so enjoy that. And if you're heading for the George Washington Bridge, looking good this morning for almost 20 after 6 in the morning. Minor delays, maybe a 5-minute wait for the inbound upper level off of 8095. But other than that, we're looking good at the George Washington Bridge. For those of you headed for the west side, we've got a live look now. Southbound side, really not too bad off of the GWB. Builds slightly through the traffic lights, of course, in through the 50s and 40s. But for the most part, we're looking good along the west side highway. Not too bad this morning. Into the city, the Lincoln Tunnel, Holland Tunnel, again, a quiet start. Connecticut Turnpike still with the slowdowns, though, right around exit 17 in Westport. Because of that northbound collision, 2 lanes remain closed. So, again, anticipate slowdowns both directions. Merritt Parkway, Route 1, pretty good alternatives. Don't forget, when you get in your car, check out traffic and transit on 1010 Wins. Rob, Carolyn, back to you.
All right, Trish, we'll talk to you again soon. And the O-Man, last night it was a night for Mets fans to look at the big picture.
The big picture. They didn't want to look at the small one, which was the loss, but the big picture. And here's a nice little tidbit. Lastings, Millage, Darryl Strawberry, both brought up to the majors at 21 years, 55 days old. Strawberry, the man for the organization back in the day. Millage, more like a part of the youth movement. Not a lot of pressure. In the 5th. Soler gives up a solo blast to Eric Burns and a 3-run shot to Connor Jackson. 7-1 D-backs at that point. It was a milestone for Millage. Lastings with his first major league hit in his major league debut. It's a double. 1 for 4 on the night as a starting right fielder. No Mets comeback in this one, though. 7-2 the final.
I fought for it my first at bat. I was pretty aggressive. I put a good swing on a good pitch. But I was real aggressive and I was real thirsty to get that first hit. But, when you get it, you kind of calm down, and that's how you get plenty more.
And meanwhile, the Yanks in Detroit, they blow a couple of 5-run leads. Ivan Rodriguez with 3 RBIs. They tied at 6. It goes to extra innings where Jason Giambi gives the Yanks a little breathing room. He's solo spanked, part of a 5-run 11th inning. Mariano Rivera pitched 3 innings for the win. 11-6 Yankees. Red Sox lost, so they're tied for first. Despite reports, the Astros say they haven't signed Roger Clemens for the remainder of the year at $10 million. Hockey, Sabres beat the Hurricanes in overtime, forcing Game 7. In that series, the winner goes to the Stanley Cup Final against Edmonton. Western Conference NBA Final Game 4 in Phoenix. Fourth quarter, Suns leading the Mavericks by 12. Boris Diaw with the drive and jam over Dirk Nowitzki. I said Diaw plus the foul. Suns win at 106-86, even up that series at 2 games apiece. And finally this morning, New York Liberty still in search of their first win of the season. Bright spot into the first half is Becky Hammond from half court. And she hits it. Good thing she did. They only lost by 21. Liberty now 0-3. So, if there was point spread thing you want.
Still an amazing shot.
No, it was a great shot.
Absolutely.
What does it matter? Thanks, Otis. When we come back, a massive recall by Toyota. The details are next. The sun trying to make its way through the clouds this morning at 6:24 on a Wednesday morning, 65 degrees. The chairman of Goldman Sachs is making the leap from Wall Street to the White House. Henry Paulson was picked by President Bush yesterday to be his 3rd Treasury Secretary. He'll be replacing Jon Snow, who announced his resignation. Snow said Paulson will make a great addition to the administration, and many financial experts agree. The Senate Finance Committee is expected to schedule a confirmation hearing soon.
More than 1 million hybrid cars are heading back to repair shops worldwide. Toyota is recalling 10 models, including its popular Prius, because of a defective part that could cause drivers to lose control of the steering wheel. All the cars were made between September 2002 and November 2005. Most were only sold in Japan, but the recall does cover more than 170,000 here in the United States.
All right, at 6:25, time now to check in with CNBC's Liz Clayman. Good morning, Liz.
I wonder if Brad Pitt's Prius was recalled.
Does he have a Prius?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of the stars out west, too.
How do you know that?
Well, I read the New York Times. I read Us Magazine, the New York Times. Stocks sold off sharply as higher oil prices, a drop in consumer confidence, and a sales warning from Walmart raised concerns about Americans' discretionary spending. The Dow fell 184 points to 11,094, wiping out all of the gains made last week. The Nasdaq closed down 45 points. And then we've got oil prices hovering around $72 a barrel in overseas trading this morning ahead of tomorrow's OPEC meeting in Venezuela. The group is not expected to change its output as it still believes, there's plenty of oil out there, and it's other factors such as geopolitical tensions in Iran and nervousness over the upcoming U.S. hurricane season that are really behind that surge in crude prices. On the economic calendar, we're going to get a preview of the health of the manufacturing sector with a look at Midwest manufacturing conditions. And the Fed releases the minutes, as they're called, from its last meeting when it raised rates again and noted some inflation risks remain in the economy. Finally, Americans appear to be more confident about their job security. A new survey finds more than 80% of workers believe there's little chance they'll lose their job this year. Only 30% expect unemployment to go up, and more than half think they have a chance to move up the corporate ladder. Optimism's a beautiful thing, isn't it, Carolyn and Rob? Back to you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Feel good about your job?
Yeah.
Indeed. Have a great day, Liz.
You too.
It is 6:27. Coming up next, the cleanup begins in Patterson.
After a huge train wreck, you're looking at some of the debris around me. We'll tell you about that and the building that it crashed into in just a moment. Stay tuned.
A freight train jumps the tracks and plows into several buildings. Now a huge cleanup effort is underway.
Plus, how coastal storms 1,000 miles away could affect your homeowner's insurance.
And the effort to legalize same-sex marriages in New York. The state's highest court hears arguments today. And good morning. If you're just waking up and tuning in, just a few seconds away from 6:30 on a Wednesday. I'm Rob Morrison.
And I'm Carolyn Gussoff in this morning for Darlene. Nice as always to be here.
Great to have you here.
And another nice day, not quite as beautiful as yesterday, though.
Well, not bad.
Temperatures
again, yeah. Well,
I stand corrected.
It depends upon where you were exactly yesterday, if you got any of those thunderstorms. If you didn't, beautiful today. Pretty much same scenario, a little bit cooler, especially from the city on east this afternoon with a bit of a breeze coming in off the cooler water. Right now, we're down to 65 degrees. Partly cloudy is our sky cover out there. Also depends upon exactly where you are this morning as to how much fog and haze you're seeing out there, but pretty much widespread in most areas. Anyway, we're looking at Morris County this go-around, and the temperatures are all in the mid-60s. Randolph coming in with 65, 65 in Chatham, same number Troy Hills, Kinnelon 64, and Mount Arlington 64. Low 60s out across Long Island, near 60, the Connecticut shoreline, and the New Jersey shoreline as well. There are those storms from late yesterday afternoon and evening that moved across northwest New Jersey, then died out over Pennsylvania. We're quiet now. There may be a pop-up shower or storm north and west of the city later today, but for the most part, we'll burn off the low clouds and the fog, giving us a partly sunny afternoon. Warm, just not as hot as yesterday, with temperatures closing in on 80 in the city. It will be warmer west and cooler east, but there is some rain heading our way, and it may mean some business. We'll tell you all about that in a few minutes.
See you soon.
Okay.
All right, the cleanup may take a while. In Patterson, a freight train derailed at 18th Street, crashing into several buildings and forcing residents to be evacuated for a time. Joe Avalar right there in the middle of it. Joe?
Oh, indeed we are, right on Godwin Avenue, where the train careened off the tracks, took out the railroad crossing pole that's in front of me, and you can see some of the debris, some of the wreckage of the train that's behind me. As you heard, it came off its tracks and careened into a building. Let's show you.
A freight train rail car tipped on its side, spilling its contents of industrial debris and garbage. One of 8 rail cars in a 70-car train that derailed in Patterson after 9 last night.
A little after 9 o'clock, we seen the train coming by, a couple sparks going as it was trying to brake and everything, which some of the rail came plopping up a little by little. The next thing you know, the train just detached. One went to the left, one went to the right, ran into the back of the building.
Cars from the New York, Susquehanna, and Western Railway slammed into 2 buildings, an auto repair shop and a car wash. Both collapsed. There was a gas leak at the car wash.
We had to evacuate about 75 families, taking them to a makeshift center at our Riverside Vets. We called Red Cross, the county, hazmat.
The gas leak was found and turned off. The families returned to their homes last night. Several cars on the train contained contaminated construction debris. Fortunately, those cars remained on the track, never posed a hazard. Cleanup will continue throughout the day today.
We're creating detours, alternate traffic routes, so we urge everybody to really stay away from the site.
You're looking at part of the carriage that carried some of these rail cars. It all came off the tracks and back live with this. By the way, nobody was hurt, and that's amazing when you look at all the wreckage around me that nobody was hurt. What caused it all? Investigators don't know at this point. They'll be looking into that and cleaning this up as the day goes on. That's what's happening here. Back to you.
All right, quite a scene. Joe Avalar, thank you. The female director of a Montessori school on the east side is charged with having sex with two of her male students, ages 12 and 13. Lena Sina faces 81 charges of rape, sodomy, bribing a witness, and tampering with evidence. She could face 25 years in prison. Meanwhile, on Long Island, a school teacher is under arrest after being caught in a sting. Nassau police say Patrick Lombardo of Bridgeport, Connecticut, sent out indecent material on his computer and arranged to meet a 15-year-old boy in Mineola. Well, the boy turned out to be an undercover officer. Lombardo was charged with attempting to endanger the welfare of a child.
A follow-up now to a story we first reported yesterday. Con Edison says faulty wiring on a streetlight led to an 8-year-old girl being shocked on Staten Island. Brianna Santa Maria was zapped when she stepped on an electrical grate in front of her home Monday. There have been several similar incidents throughout the city in the last few years, and Councilman John Liu is currently sponsoring legislation that would fine Con Ed if it happens again.
And a legal victory for some post-September 11th detainees being held here in New York. A federal judge ruled that the government must tell them whether their conversations with their lawyers were monitored. The judge rejected the Fed's claim that the information would jeopardize national security.
A September 11th memorial in New Jersey is being criticized as too intrusive. Work has already begun in Liberty State Park on the project called Empty Sky. It'll have two 30-foot-high steel panels inscribed with the names of those lost from the Garden State. But friends of the park say its base is already blocking some inspiring views of Lower Manhattan, and they want it changed. Officials are now promising to mediate.
Today in Albany, New York's highest court hears arguments on behalf of dozens of same-sex couples who want their marriages to be legalized. Many of those couples are getting support from the New York Civil Liberties Union. Vivian Lee is live outside their headquarters in Lower Manhattan this morning. Good morning, Vivian.
Good morning, Carolyn. Both sides of the same-sex marriage debate face off later this afternoon at the Court of Appeals in Albany. What's at stake? The definition of marriage in the Empire State. At Congregation B'nai Jeshurun on the Upper West Side last night, a rally for gay marriages in New York, supporters calling the fight a moral one.
There are far more people of faith who are supportive of the gay community than are opposed to us. We've just never done a good enough job of organizing them, and tonight we're showing that.
5 same-sex couples who filed suit against the city will have their day in the state's highest court today, 2 years after they were denied marriage certificates. They will argue denying gays and lesbians the right to marry violates the state constitution's guarantee of equality and liberty for all New Yorkers. The New York Civil Liberties Union represents some of the couples.
So that they can enjoy the benefits of health care, so that they can benefit from their pensions, so they can make decisions when one of them is tragically ill.
The New York State Conservative Party will fight the case, arguing that marriage must be defined as a union between a man and a woman.
This is an issue of special privileges. This is an issue that would change the face of marriage as we know it. Courts should not be making this type of decision. If there's going to be some form of change, it has to come through the legislature.
And that is exactly where supporters of gay marriage will take their next fight. They say if they lose this case, they will focus on changing the state's law. Reporting live in Lower Manhattan, I'm Vivian Lee, Today in New York.
All right, Vivian, thanks. Starting this week, the Long Island Railroad Commuters Council conducts a study of what bugs passengers the most. Newsday is saying commuters tell them that hands down the #1 pet peeve is other riders who talk into their cell phones often for the entire trip. Something else that bothers them? Well, stray coffee cups and abandoned newspapers, and riders who stretch out their legs in the aisles.
It all bothers me. Well, with iPods being a popular target for thieves, especially on subways, the NYPD has devised a way to help keep them safe. They're using invisible ink that can only be seen in ultraviolet light to mark portable electronic devices with a serial number. The numbers will help police return the gadgets to their rightful owners if they're lost or stolen. It's a free service now available at Transit Bureau offices and tables set up throughout the subway system.
Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, and free.
And free.
Why not?
It is coming up on 6:38. Let's check the ride to work once again. Trish.
Hey guys, good morning. And well, earlier we were talking about how quiet the George Washington Bridge was. So much for that. Take you back outside. Skycam Network showing you the inbound lower level. All of that traffic coming out of the toll plaza jammed up across the span. The reason, we have an accident inbound underneath the apartments on that lower level. So anticipate heavy delays right now, at least a 20 to 25 minute backup getting into the lower level. And of course, we'll see a lot of alternate traffic start to build up for the upper level. Take a look at the Lincoln Tunnel here. Quiet getting into the toll plaza, but we are getting word of traffic delays off of the New Jersey Turnpike exiting for 16E. So we're looking into that. But once you're on the viaduct, the 495 viaduct, really not bad getting in towards the toll plaza. Take a look at the Bell Parkway now building up westbound in through Kennedy Airport. We can also mention Cross Island Parkway delays southbound side right at the Southern State Parkway. That because of an accident being cleared. And then once you get onto the Bell Parkway, again, more slowdowns through Kennedy Airport and in through Lefferts Boulevard. Finally, Connecticut Turnpike for you guys, unfortunately, still slow in through Westport at exit 17 because of that northbound collision. 2 lanes remain closed, so delays now in both directions along the Connecticut Turnpike. So far, we're looking good with mass transit. Really not bad this morning. Everything on or close to schedule. Don't forget, when you get in your car, check out traffic and transit on 1010 Wins. Rob and Carolyn, back to you.
All right, Trish, thanks. And still ahead on Today in New York, some important changes for boaters in New Jersey. We'll run them down for you.
And many Long Island homeowners are getting some bad news from insurance companies. It's all because of storms thousands of miles away. We'll examine it when we come back.
A live look at a marina in Weehawken, New Jersey. Perhaps a nice day to take the boat out for a ride. But starting tomorrow, many New Jersey boaters will need a license to take their vessels out in the water. Boaters born in 1969 or later will be required to have a new safety license. By the year 2009, everyone must take a boating class or pass a certification test to prove they can operate a vessel safely. Now, Connecticut has a similar regulation, while New York only requires licenses for personal watercraft operators.
Have you taken a close look at your homeowner's insurance lately? You really should. You see, many people who've never experienced a flood may find themselves without coverage this year. As we hear from CNBC's Mary Thompson, you can blame it on last year's hurricanes.
Last year's hurricanes cost $57 billion in insured damage along the Gulf Coast. But hundreds of miles to the north on Long Island, plenty of homeowners are paying the price for those violent southern storms.
Dear customer, we're writing to you with what we know is unfortunate news.
Allstate Indemnity Company will not renew your homeowner insurance policy.
There were a number of reasons why we chose not to renew your property policy.
This spring, New York's largest home insurer, Allstate, began an early evacuation from an 8-county area bordering the Long Island Sound, the Atlantic Ocean, and New York City. It stopped writing new policies and renewing others of homeowners living close to the water. Why? In a letter to policyholders, it says expectations that similarly destructive storms are possible all along the East Coast in the coming years.
Each company has to continually evaluate what its exposure is along the coast and then decide whether it can or cannot continue to write policies in that given area.
But it's been decades since a major hurricane hit the Northeast, leaving homeowners like Peter Curley asking why Allstate wrote his policy in the first place.
If they want to take me, they have to take me in the good times and the bad times.
But times have changed. With more than half of the U.S. population now living within 50 miles of the coastline, insurers are covering more property in hurricane-prone areas, property that significantly increased in value. If a hurricane hits a densely populated, low-lying area like Long Island, some insurers believe it could ruin them financially, so they're scaling back their operations before the hurricane season heats up. New York's not the only state where insurers are retreating from the water's edge. It's happening along Massachusetts' South Shore and on Cape Cod, and along Delaware's coast. With one less insurer in the market, independent insurance agent Nick DeLeo says jilted homeowners will pay more for coverage.
The Allstate policies that I will have to replace, I would think that the clients will see an increase in premium.
That's the case for Bayville, New York's Lucille Lala. She expects her premiums to increase about 40%, while neighbor Phil Lucidi says his will double. The price they pay for getting tossed by an insurer who says it needs to heed hurricane warnings to stay afloat.
That was CNBC's Mary Thompson reporting. And now is the time to review your homeowner's policy. Most policies have to be in effect 30 days prior to an event that causes any flooding, so be sure to check. Don't assume you're covered.
No. So you can still get it. You just will have to pay a lot more for it.
Sounds like it, yeah.
Unfortunately.
No storms on the horizon, I
Nothing
hope.
immediate, and hopefully up here we'll stay quiet during the hurricane season, but it only begins officially tomorrow, actually. Outside this morning, we have little haze and fog looking at the South Street Seaport. Some clouds, patchy clouds at that. We've had some hazy sunshine in parts of the area, too. It's another mild, kind of muggy start to the day, 65 degrees current temperature. East wind at 6 miles per hour. Humidity up there fairly high at 84%. The pressure nice and strong. It's holding steady at 3021. Tree and grass pollens are still high. Wheat pollen's low, and the mold spore count, that's come back up a little bit to a moderate level. All of the facts and figures from UMD&J Newark Medical Schools. We've had a taste of summer since the weekend. 83 Saturday, 83 Sunday. 88, pair of them, Monday and Tuesday. Today's high flirts with 80 degrees in the city. It'll get into the 80s west of town, but normally should be up around 75. So we've been above normal to well above normal the last 5 days. It's 64 at LaGuardia right now, 63 in Brentwood, low 60s through the Hudson Valley, northwest New Jersey, low to mid 60s, central New Jersey. Not a big range in temperature. The bottom line here, we had cloud cover overnight, kept the temperatures up even in the suburbs. Even Elmira, New York, normally the chillier spot. It's cooler at 58, but not all that cool this morning. Had some shower and thunderstorm activity come down the Hudson Valley, past west of the city late yesterday evening and into the first half of the nighttime hours, dying out now across Pennsylvania. Still a ridge of high pressure holding around here, so we'll probably see a mix of clouds and sun the bulk of the day today. There could be an isolated shower or thunderstorm, the best chance well north and west of the city. Tonight, partly cloudy, a little bit on the muggy and the sticky side once again. Then tomorrow, especially from tomorrow evening on, there will be an increasing risk for shower and thunderstorm activity. And by the time we get to Friday, with a wave of low pressure moving toward us, an enhancement of that shower and thunderstorm activity, and some of it could become heavy. Shorecast today, southeast winds 5 to 10 knots, wave heights 2 to 3 on the ocean, about 1 foot on the sound. Your water temperature still pretty chilly, upper 50s, low 60s, and your air temperature is generally low to mid 70s. We get rid of the shower thunderstorm threat Friday night into Saturday, then clearing up Saturday night, and hopefully by Sunday, some decent weather with sunshine moving back in and lower humidity as well. Area temperatures next 5 days, 79 today, warm tomorrow, 83. Cooler Friday with the rain, 73. And then mid to upper 70s over the weekend. So, again, not a bad one today. Troy?
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Still ahead, changing of the guard at the CIA.
Plus, an urgent call for more U.S. troops to fight the insurgency in Iraq. A live report from Washington when we come right back.
Warm and hazy morning, 65 degrees, just about 6:50 on a Wednesday. Welcome back to Today in New York. And today, Michael Hayden is to be sworn in as head of the CIA. But once the ceremony is over, the Bush administration will turn its attention back to the insurgency in Iraq. Brooke Hart is live in Washington this morning with more. Good morning, Brooke.
Good morning, Robin. To the rising violence there, it's not just a perceived rise in violence. A Pentagon report to Congress says overall attacks in Iraq are up. And now comes word emergency reinforcements are being deployed. The Pentagon had predicted spring could bring a drawdown of U.S. troops in Iraq, but instead 1,500 troops are being flown in from Kuwait to help bring order to Ramadi and the lawless zone west of Baghdad.
It's a giant armed angry city, a handful of Marines under daily attack.
More troops to Iraq goes against public calls on President Bush to pull back. The Pentagon's own quarterly report to Congress suggests troops will be needed for a while. The report says the insurgency will likely hold its own until early next year. Yesterday, a pair of evening attacks at a popular market north of Baghdad and a bakery in the capital killed 34 people. The U.S. presence in Iraq, though, could face new scrutiny. Iraq's Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki vows his own probe into an alleged U.S. atrocity in Haditha. In November, after a roadside bomb killed 20-year-old Lance Corporal Miguel Terrazas, Iraqi witnesses say Marines looking for the culprit and revenge killed 24 civilians, women and children among them. There's growing pressure on the Bush team to respond.
The president also is allowing the chain of command to do what it's supposed to do in the Department of Defense, which is to complete an investigation.
Prime Minister Maliki, also avoiding judgment, said innocent Iraqis cannot be killed by mistake. But U.S. military investigators suspect the incident was no mistake. A senior military official in Iraq says all the Iraqi victims died of gunshot wounds, even though Marines at the time reported they were killed by a bomb. Live in Washington, I'm Brooke Hart. Carolyn and Rob, back to you.
Brooke, thank you. The number of people displaced by Indonesia's earthquake has reached nearly 650,000. The quake destroyed more than 130,000 homes and claimed close to 5,800 lives. But UN officials say aid workers are reaching more and more survivors, and they say the threat of a major health crisis appears to be easing in many areas.
And we'll be right back with top stories and the whip around. As you know, the countdown is underway as the Today Show prepares to say goodbye to Katie Couric. Many celebrities will visit her to wish her well, and there could be some surprises. After 15 years as co-host, Katie is moving on to the CBS Evening News.
Feeling so great about everything and feeling that this is the right time for me to kind of face a new challenge.
And the Today Show will look back at her 15 years and have plenty of special guests to say goodbye. The farewell kicks off in just a few minutes at 7 o'clock.
All right, change is good. We're sad. Change is good.
Part of life.
That's what they say. Time now for the traffic whip around with Trish.
All right, guys, and we're at the wall. And again, another hazy morning out there. But so far, it looks like the usual traffic delays building up, except if you're heading for the George Washington Bridge. Let's take you outside right now, Skycam Network, and show you inbound lower level. Still a mess out of the toll plaza because of this accident in the process of being cleared. Collision actually on the lower level underneath the apartment. So anticipate delays actually upper and lower level, a good 20 to 25 minute backup and building. Crossing the span once you get through the apartments onto the Cross Bronx. Not so bad, just some slight slowdowns as you exit for the Major Deegan Expressway into Queens now on the Long Island Expressway, and slowdowns this morning, of course, west through the Fairgrounds, and again as you make your ride in through Woodhaven Boulevard. So nothing unusual there. Grand Central Parkway westbound slow in through LaGuardia Airport, and again exiting for the Brooklyn Queens Expressway. And we'll take a look at the Queensboro Bridge this morning. Not too bad. East River bridges and tunnels, we can tell you, in fairly decent shape this morning. And the Bell Parkway is still some slowdowns building in through Kennedy Airport. Southbound Cross Island Parkway, again, you have that accident right at the Southern State to watch out for. New Jersey Turnpike, though, so far good. Nice shot here. This right in front of Newark Airport. Just anticipate some slowdowns further north on the eastern spur at 16E. That's traffic exiting for the Lincoln Tunnel. Finally, Connecticut Turnpike, you still have that accident northbound at exit 17 in Westport. So delays now both directions. You want to go at the Merritt Parkway or Route 1. Don't forget, when you get in your car, check out traffic and transit on 1010 Wins. Rob and Carolyn, back to you guys.
All right, have a great day, Trish. Top story is now a huge mess to clean up in Patterson after a freight train derailment. Joe Avalar live at the scene.
Oh, Rob, it is a huge mess. You said it's so right. 8 cars derailed last night, about 9:15. You see some of the wreckage behind me. Let's show you what it looked like last night. Again, 9:15 last night. Several of those cars, when they went off the track, went into 2 buildings. One was an auto repair. The other was a car wash. Caused a gas leak. 75 families in the area had to be evacuated. They were returned to their homes. Incredibly, you look at that wreckage. Come on back to us live. You look at this wreckage, and you find out that nobody was hurt in all this mess. So why did it happen? Well, investigators are here right now. They're going to try to figure out why it happened, and then they're going to clean it up, get it out of here. And that's what's happening here. Back to you.
All right, Joe Avalar, thanks so much. And now to Vivian Lee in Lower Manhattan. New York's highest court hears arguments today on gay marriage. Vivian.
That's right, Carolyn. Both sides of the same-sex marriage debate will square off at the Court of Appeals in Albany later this afternoon. At stake is the definition of marriage in New York State. 45 couples are involved in this lawsuit, which began 2 years ago when several gay and lesbian couples were denied marriage certificates by the city of New York. A decision won't be reached today, but likely in a few weeks' time. That is the very latest from Lower Manhattan. I'm Vivian Lee. Back to you, Carolyn and Rob.
Thanks so much, Vivian. Some other stories we're following. Police hope surveillance photos will lead to an arrest in connection with the murder in Chelsea. The photos taken in Queens and Upper Manhattan. They show men using the credit cards of Thomas Whitney, killed 10 days ago after leaving a Chelsea nightclub. And Con Edison says it was faulty wiring on a street light that caused an 8-year-old girl to be shocked on Staten Island. Brianna Santa Maria was zapped while at a grate in front of her home. She was not seriously hurt.
Good. Now let's turn to Otis and the sports headlines.
All right, the Yanks try to make it 3 in a row in Detroit, while the Mets look for 2 out of 3 against the D-backs. Pedro will take the hill. Nice play for the Angels, Orlando Cabrera. Not your ordinary throw to first. As you see, he hits himself in the head during his windup. Should he get 2 outs for that? I don't know. Non-Barry Bonds, best sign of the year for me. Press Control Alt Delete to restart the season for the Cub fans. And nothing like a rain delay, unless you're the guys working the tire down. It's just a giant slip and slide at that point, you know? So remember that? Yeah, exactly.
Good times.
Great
Good
times.
times, good times.
Those are the days.
Young. Whammo! All right, let's get a look at your 5-day forecast one last time. Some changes coming our way over the next few days. Now, today we'll see hazy sun, some clouds, only upper 70s to near 80 in the city, so not quite as warm. Out east, even cooler, but western suburbs well into the 80s. Could be an isolated shower or storm. I think better chance later tomorrow afternoon and especially tomorrow night for showers and thunderstorms. Kind of a warm, sticky day tomorrow, 83. 73 Friday, widespread showers and thunderstorms, some with some locally heavy downpours a possibility. Then we go into the weekend. The latest information seems to be slowing down the system a little, so the shower threat could last until at least the middle of the day, Saturday, 75. Then we dry it out by the end of the day. And Sunday looks pretty good, actually. We should see some sunshine and temperatures back into the mid and upper 70s, which is actually where they're supposed to be for this time of the year. So no more 80s as we get towards the weekend. We cool it down a little bit.
All right,
Still
but
nice.
still nice. Good. We'll take it. Thanks, Chris. And tomorrow on Today in New York, new vaccines for adults. Which ones should you consider getting?
Plus, a new trend in banking, branches that look like coffee houses. Roseanne Coletti takes a look inside tomorrow from 5 to 7 on Today in New York. Just very quickly, as we say goodbye to Katie, you know what? She once made my grandmother so very happy by meeting her, shaking her hand, and allowing her to sit on the Today Show set.
She's a star in every way.
Yeah.
We wish her a lot of luck. A very special Today Show is next with Katie and Matt.
That's right. Good luck, Katie. That's what's happening today in New York.